Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins. In the last episode, Suzuha Mane of the Beta World line offered a Rintaro Okabe a very simple, simple yet complicated opportunity to save Kurisu Makase, not Mayuri, to save Kurisu Makase from her death on the 28th of July 2010, and as a possibility reach the unknown world line that has been designated Steins. Of course, we have no idea what actually lies at the world line of Steins, but we have to see where it leads. But we can only do that if we prevent Kurisu from dying on this world line. Given our track record on the Alpha world line in the case of Mayuri Shina, I'm not happy on the odds. But we have indeed jumped back in time, back to the July 28th, the very day upon which all this began. And of course, our past incarnation will be the first to see this site that we haven't seen in a very long time. It's certainly very interesting to see this from a completely different perspective. But such is time travel. I need to hide before they get here. Given the fact that we didn't actually see ourselves back in the past, that's probably a good sign that we actually do manage to hide. So hopefully we can find a cardboard box or something to hide in, just in case. Or maybe hide inside the building. That was a close one. Indeed it was. I nearly bumped into myself on the 8th floor landing. Yeah, because this time we have a huge risk in the form of time paradoxes. We don't want to cause a time paradox. Right after I ran downstairs to the 7th floor, I heard footsteps running the other way behind me. Those footsteps were mine, no doubt. It was a near miss. To be safe, I descend to the 4th floor before stopping to take a breath. I take a look around, but nobody's paying any attention to me. I wonder what Suzuha is doing. I'm worried, but I need to focus on my own mission. I believe she is playing the role of a building security guard. She is basically warning the crowd on top of the roof to stay away from the satellite in question and to return to the lecture post-haste. Which is exactly what happened when we actually discovered the time machine ourselves, although we thought it was a satellite at the time. But we must prevent Kurisu's death. Above all else, that needs to happen. In about 30 minutes from now, just after Nakabachi's presentation, someone will murder her. I know where it happens. On the 8th floor, towards the back of the building where people rarely go. What I don't know is who stabbed her, nor why. Instead of running around and drawing attention to myself, I should just wait at the scene. Let's cool off here for about 5 minutes and then head over there ASAP. If I remember correctly, Kurisu tried to talk to me in the assembly hall, but I blew her off and came down here. After that I tried calling Mayuri, but her phone was off and I couldn't get through. So I went back up to the assembly hall to find her. That certainly sounds about right. What time was that? Probably sometime after 12 o'clock. I searched my memories, trying to plot the actions I took on July 28th. It sounded simple when Suzuha had said it, but staying away from my past self is going to take more work than I thought. It's definitely been several lifetimes ago since we were here. Frustration mounts. I shoved Suzuha's watch in my pocket to quash it. Just then, we run into the one person that we did not want to run into. That voice. I turn around.
Kurisu.
Kurisu Makase. The 18-year-old genius girl with a published thesis. On this world line, Kurisu was never a member of the Future Gadget Laboratory.
私、あなたと面識ありました?
I hate to be a little bit cliche, but our name is not important.
いや、
We are, in fact, telling the complete truth this
さ
time.
っきこのビルの屋上から降りてきましたよね?
And in keeping with her character, Kurisu is sharp when it comes to observations. She looks at me with those beautiful eyes shining with intelligence and strength of will. I thought I would never see her again. But now before my very eyes, is the girl that I love. Tears well up in my eyes. I want to embrace her right this instant. It takes everything I have to resist the urge. Don't forget, this is our first encounter. This Kurisu doesn't know Rintaro Okabe, let alone Hoin Kiyoma.
屋上で妙な音がしたし、ビルが揺れたように感じたけど、それと何か関係が?
That is indeed the case.
一体何があったんですか? ドクター中鉢の仕込みとか言わないですよね?
Yes, I forgot you were assisting Dr. Nakabachi during his presentation. Why did I have to run into Kurisu of all people? Will allow me to clear up that mystery, Rintaro Okabe. Because, surprisingly enough, not that, if you played Steins the first time around without any sort of guide or spoiler or anything, or if you watched the Steins anime first, as I did, you'll actually remember that in our initial encounter with Kurisu Makase, shortly after Dr. Nakabashi's lecture, she mentioned something. She mentioned that she encountered us for a second time, 15 minutes prior to the lecture, or 15 minutes before, during Dr. Nakabachi's lecture, before Kurisu interrupts Rintaro and drags him off. This is that moment in time. This is that crucial 15-minute time window, which would actually make our initial encounter with Kurisu Makase at the very beginning of this Let's Play the second time she encountered us, although technically she would have been encountering our past self. I can't answer. I'm afraid that if I speak, I'll be unable to contain my emotions. The memory of her last smile is burned into my mind, imploring me to act. Sadly, Rintaro, you mustn't forget that was the Alpha world line Kurisu Makase. The Kurisu Makase of this world line is destined to die in 30 minutes. And she has absolutely no recollection of your connection whatsoever.
すごい汗ですけど。
Kurisu looks at me with suspicion. What would happen if I were to grab Kurisu and run? Nothing good, unfortunately. Would divergence change? Would her murder be averted? Entirely doubtful. I recall all the times Mayuri died. I recall all the times I time-leaped to save her. Everything I tried ended in vain. I was unable to save her even once. No matter what I did, the world line itself killed her. Won't it be the same with Kurisu? Suzuha doesn't seem to think so, but I'm not convinced. Should I even try? Well, if we don't, we can't reach Steins Gate. I reach towards Kurisu, my hand shaking.
何ですか?
Maybe we could tempt fate a little bit by giving her a very simplified version. Even though of course she's going to think that we're completely crazy when she encounters our other self. She steps back in surprise and fear, clutching a manila envelope to her chest. This is our first meeting. I know that. But to me, she is still the girl I love. If I'd been thinking straight a second ago, I would have realized that my plan to grab her and flee was never going to work. Kurisu would never follow some strange man she only just met. Running isn't an option. Indeed, it is completely out of the question. All I can do is wait at the scene of the crime and hope we can prevent it. Fighting against the urge to stay, I force myself to turn and leave, thus creating the conditions by which our other self will eventually be interrogated about. So without even realizing it,
質問に答えてください.
But Kurisu pursues me. Why is she so desperate to know who I am? I do look suspicious, I'll admit that much. But if she thinks I'm dangerous, why would she come alone in this empty hallway? I turn around reluctantly and meet Kurisu's stare.
答えて.
That is the one thing we cannot do, Kurisu Marcus say.
俺はお前を
Can I really save you? That is the question we desperately need answered. Unfortunately, Kurisu isn't the one to answer that question. The words catch in my throat. Can I save her? I don't know. All I know is that convergence is merciless and cruel, and that I am powerless to stop it.
何です?
Never you mind. Just the ramblings of an insane mad scientist by the name of Hori Kiyoma, which, by the way, you'll meet me again in about 15 minutes, but just try not to pay too close attention to the fact that when we next meet, I won't even know who you are, because technically that isn't me. It is me, but it's an alternate me. You're never going to understand this, because you are sadly going to be dead 15 minutes from that moment. I shake my head, then bolt for the stairs before Kurisu can react.
待って! 待ちなさい!
When I make it back to the 8th floor, the presentation has already started. Oh, why are we back here? Why are we back here? First we ran into Kurisu, which is actually a blessing in disguise, because that creates the conditions for which our other self will go through. The other self being us from the past, that we went through so many world lines ago. Of course, avoiding ourselves and avoiding a time paradox is imperative, but there is also one person that we're going to have to avoid in this particular timeline. That is Mayushi, the girl who accompanied us here. I peek in through the door of the assembly hall. If Mayushi spots us, we're basically in huge trouble.
俺が誰なのかはどうでもいい。それより、今あなたが語ったタイムマシンの理論は一体何だ?
Fortunately, there's us accusing Dr. Nakabachi of plagiarizing John Titor, who we now know as Suzuha Mane. Someone in the audience is shouting at Dr. Nakabachi. I know that Chunibiu rage, and that someone is me. An incredible sense of deja vu. Now I remember. I confronted Dr. Nakabachi in the middle of his presentation. I called him a fraud for ripping off John Titor's posts, and I still don't like you, good sir. From this angle, I look like a real arsehole. So we're finally seeing ourselves from everyone else's point of view for a change. Good luck with that. Staff members approach. Damn, this is embarrassing. It would seem like a good idea at the time. But there's nothing I can do here. I need to leave before Kurisu appears. I turn around and head deeper into the dim passage, and as a result, Kurisu should meet with our other self in Dr. Nakabachi's presentation. Of course, we won't know that. We should remember that, but we don't need to know that right now. An image flashes through my mind. She was lying there, at the end of this passage, in a pool of her own blood. Once again, the flashback of Kurisu's grisly murder. 20 minutes from now, that's exactly what will happen. But can we prevent it? I must, whatever it takes. Steins has chosen. There's a pile of junk, toolboxes, cardboard and the like, about halfway down the passage, the perfect hiding spot. I crouch behind them. Now all I have to do is wait for Kurisu to show. But what will I do when she does? She's obviously going to think that we're crazy since she met us and then met our past self, and then she's going to meet us again, and she is going to be existentially confused. Only now do I realize I'm completely unarmed. I really didn't think this through. It was the same. We made the same mistake with Tanuji in the Alpha World line. Kurisu was lying in a pool of blood. That means her killer had a weapon. Since I didn't hear a gunshot, it must have been a knife or something similar. How am I going to defend her and myself? Is there anything around here that might work as a weapon? I still have about 20 minutes. But one wrong move and someone might catch me. I shouldn't leave the spot. Maybe I'm being overly cautious, but this is my only chance to prevent Kurisu's death. I don't want to jeopardize that. I don't know what I'd do if I ran into Kurisu again. It's a miracle I managed to tear myself away last time. And inadvertently created the very conditions that started this whole catastrophe to begin with. The longer I wait in the darkness, the harder it becomes. The anticipation is killing me. So far, not a single soul has passed down this hallway. I can faintly hear Nakabachi's voice through the mic far away, but that's about it. The silence does nothing but increase my tension. To make matters worse, it's hot and humid. I guess the air conditioner's not on back here. Maybe we... Well, actually no. I think the people at the radio building would probably be upset if we stole their air conditioner and took it back to the Fujikachi laboratory. I don't think we could do that even if we tried. My entire body's drenched in sweat, and I haven't even been hiding for a minute. Sweat drips my brow from my brow to the floor. I rub it out with my Sue. I have to keep waiting. There's no other choice. And the waiting game continues. I stay there, crouched in the darkness for what seems like an eternity. In the distance, I hear the sound of sparse applause. I glance at Suzuha's watch. It's 12:26. I guess the presentation's over. I peek out from behind the boxes, and just then... I hear footsteps. They're definitely approaching. I quickly duck back behind cover. My heart is pounding. Really should have thought this through. Someone's coming this way. Who? Is it Kurisu's murderer? Or is it Kurisu herself? I clench my teeth and try to drive away the tension. I can only pray that I won't be found out. Finally the footsteps pass right by my hiding spot. Just a box. Just a box. Moving only my eyes, I sneak a glance at the person. It's Kurisu. Probably she's still thinking about the situation, the weird situation, now that she's encountered our other self and is definitely determined that we are in fact clinically schizophrenically insane. Kurisu. There's no one with her. I didn't expect Kurisu to be the first to appear. What is she doing back here? This area is for employees only. Now that I think about it, Kurisu's murder made no sense. Why would she kill in a place she normally would never come? Careful to keep quiet, I watched Kurisu from the shadows. About 5 meters down the hall, she stops walking and leans against the wall. She's holding that manila envelope I saw with her. She peeks inside and smiles softly. Why is she smiling? That's a very good question. Kurisu rarely smiles like that. Even when she's been around us, even when she's lowered her guard, she's never smiled like that. I mean, it's more like her to glare at people. That envelope. I search my memories again. When Kurisu approached me during Nakabachi's presentation, I'm pretty sure she was holding that envelope. But did she have it when I discovered her body? I don't remember seeing it on her person. What could be inside to make Kurisu smile like that? I can't even begin to imagine what it might be. Kurisu hasn't moved a muscle. She's just standing there, head hung, her face hidden behind her long hair. I can't read her expression. Is she waiting for someone? Who? Who would she meet in a place like this? And I can hear the sound of more footsteps. That's when I hear another set of footsteps approaching. I can't see who it is from where I'm hiding. But given the timing, it has to be the person who killed Kurisu. Maybe, maybe not. And, as proof, Kurisu raises her head, and upon recognizing the newcomer, lifts her back off of the wall. Her expression softens slightly. The footsteps come even closer. Who is it? Who could be this very person whom Kurisu Makase would lower her guard?
話がある。
Kurisu suddenly starts speaking. The footsteps pass right by my hiding spot. I'm so tense. I can't move a muscle. Think happy thoughts, Rintaro Okabe. Remember, just a box. The newcomer finally appears in my narrow field of vision. And it's... Dr. Nakabachi. So, Kurisu is Nakabashi's assistant during his presentation.
No.
Dr. Nakabachi, we probably should have expected this. I slap a hand over my mouth to keep from shouting in astonishment. Kurisu and Dr. Nakabachi know each other? Well, considering the timing as to when she dragged us out of his presentation, and given the fact that she's a prodigious scientist,
それと一つ忠告を。ドクター中鉢には気をつけて。
and Suzuha warned us about him, something else occurs to me. Why would Kurisu, an accomplished scientist, attend the presentation of a man like Nakabachi? Maybe, as I said, she is his assistant, not ours. He's just a two-bit inventor. Only 15 people came to hear him speak, and that's including trolls like me. There wasn't even any press coverage, even though technically it was supposed to be a press conference. Besides, Kurisu hates time-traveled science. That much was obvious from her lecture at ATF. A lecture that happened on the Alpha World line, not the Beta World line. So maybe Kurisu's sentiments are somewhat different. In that case, it's obvious why she's here. She didn't come to see his presentation. She came to see him. But why? What could be the connection between Kurisu Makase and Dr. Nakabachi? Wait. It can't be. And Nakabachi still remains silent.
聞いてるの？パパ。
Papa? No. Oh no, 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 no. Dr. Nakabachi's Kurisu's father? Her estranged father? The one who she told me she hadn't seen in 7 years? The one who she had that argument about over the phone in the Alpha World line, then promptly told us to forget about it? This is on par with the revelation in The Empire Strikes Back, where Darth Vader reveals that he is Luke Skywalker's father, the Jedi Knight known as Skywalker. Although in Nakabachi's case, he is no fallen hero, just a two-bit scientist. Kurisu did say that her father was a physicist, but Nakabachi of all people. But the scientific community at large has rejected his research. But wait, does that mean that Nakabachi murdered his own daughter? Or was it someone else, someone who has yet to appear, a third person in the room? There's no way to know. If I could be sure that Nakabachi was the killer, then I would intervene right now. But I'm not. I better keep watching, see what happens next.
それは何だ？
パパがタイムマシンの発表会をすると聞いて。
You're too concerned with pleasing your father, Kurisu. I don't like that smile on your face, Nakabachi.
私も考えてみたの。タイムマシンは作れるのかどうか。
As we recall from the Alpha World line, Kurisu tried so desperately to appease her father. Unfortunately, Nakabachi is one of those scientifically jealous types. And surprisingly, Kurisu wrote a paper on time travel. But when she spoke at ATF, she rejected the very idea. Although, come to think of it, she was awfully interested in the phone wave TBA. Damn, I forgot how much of a tsundere she was.
読んでパパの意見を聞かせてほしい。それを踏まえて手直しして学会に出してみようと思ってる。
The sad thing is that Kurisu is trying to play the role of a diligent daughter trying to help her father's career. Unfortunately, Dr. Nakabachi is a scientist first, a man second, and a father third.
相手にしてもらえないかもしれないけど、一応私サイエンス誌とは面識あるし。
As much as you try to get your father's approval, it's only going to unravel his ego. Nakabachi takes out the document and starts reading it with a disgusted frown. He's either disinterested, unimpressed, or incredibly angry. So that's what it was. She didn't have anything dangerous in that envelope, like drugs or a gun. It was just some document. But that raises a new question. Could that be the Nakabachi paper? Probably more dangerous than any gun or drug in this situation. According to Suzuha, that document sparked a time travel arms race that ultimately led to World War III and the deaths of 5.7 billion people. An event that we need to prevent at all costs.
開発競争が火種になって、それにアメリカまでが横やりを入れたから収拾がつかなくなった。
And the man at the heart of this triangulated war, Dr. Nakabachi. That's why Suzuha warned us about him. Is that why Kurisu's safety is so important to changing divergence? I get it now. Nothing is coincidence. Everything is inevitable. Nakabachi flips restlessly through the document. He's not even trying to hide his irritation.
誰がこんなものを変えてこいと言った？
That is a very loaded question, Nakabachi.
言われてはいないけど、パパが7年ぶりに連絡をくれて発表会を見に来いって言ってくれたでしょ。それがきっかけになったの。それで論文にまとめてみたら、もしかすると作れるかもしれないんじゃないかって思えるようになった。
And that, unfortunately, Kurisu Makase, was your undoing.
もしその論文が認められたら、学会を追放されたパパのリベンジになるかも。
I believe this is what is called rubbing salt in the wound.
私は追放されたのではない。
Nakabachi suddenly shrieks at Kurisu, causing her to shrink back in fear. This reminds me of a certain situation that happened in the Alpha World line, when Kurisu casually referred to Rintaro as Okabe, only for Okabe to insistently tell her to address him as Hoween Kyoma. Kurisu had the exact same reaction at Rintaro's sudden outburst. Now we know why.
連中は私のレベルの高さに嫉妬するしか能がなかった。そんな奴らに嫌気がさして私の方が見切りをつけたのだ。
She was neither afraid of Rintaro Okabe nor Hoin Kiyoma. But unfortunately, the behaviour of Hoin Kiyoma is disturbingly, unsettlingly similar to the anger and lividness of her estranged father, Nakabachi.
怒鳴らないでよ。
One might say that Kurisu Makase has what I would like to call Misato Kasaragi syndrome here. Here is a daughter who is completely estranged from her father, and by absolute sheer happenstance and coincidence, ends up falling in love with a man who is surprisingly very similar to her father. I just thought I'd bring that up. Bit of an Evangelion spoiler, I'm afraid, but it's very fitting for the situation. Nakabachi gives his daughter a disdainful snort, then goes back to flipping through the paper. Remember what I said about Nakabachi being a scientist first, a man second, and a father third? Well, that's also another Evangelion reference / spoiler, because his character is rather disturbingly, unsettlingly similar to another character by the name of Dr. Akagi.
パパって読むの早いね。昔とちっとも変わってない。
All Kurisu is trying to do is save your career, to rebuild your standing in the scientific community. And instead, you want to have some sort of journalistic pissing contest. Nakabachi even ignores Kurisu's words of endearment. You, sir, good sir, are a miserable father.
悪くない内容だ。
Not bad, not bad.
本当？
Is that what you say to the girl who is a well-published neuroscientist?
この論文はパパと共同署名でもいいと私は思って。
I don't think you realize the problem. He's a man who wants all the credit.
学会には出すな。これは私が預かっておく。
You are a selfish prick, and I despise you with every fiber of my being, you miserable bastard.
どういうことだと？わからんのか？たかがサイエンス誌に低レベルな論文が掲載された程度でいい気になるなということだ。
Plebeian thesis. Plebeian thesis. I think that Hoin Kiyoma would have something to say about this. That plebeian thesis of your daughter got her widespread fame and recognition in the entire scientific community. You are a disgrace to science, as much of a disgrace to science as the Alpha Worldline incarnation of CERN.
なんだ？親に対してその顔はなんだ？
Is this how you look at your own daughter? You pond scum.
ごめん。
And yet Kurisu is entirely submissive towards her own father. An awkward silence follows. I feel no warmth between these two. A daughter that is trying to build up, who is only trying to appease her father and repair the strain between the two of them, and a father who would rather completely disown said daughter for the sake of his own academic career. The only thing I feel is distance. Kurisu, in particular, seems to be desperate to avoid upsetting her father. Nakabachi is a lost cause, Kurisu, Makase.
久しぶりに会ったことだし、いろいろと話したいんだけど、パパは今青森に住んでるんだっけ？
So that's why you wanted us to go with you to Aomori, because that's where your father is living. Kurisu is trying to maintain a cheerful tone, but I can see that her expression is stiff. I remember how she said she had trouble dealing with her father. And cue yet another flashback.
父親に嫌われてるのよね。
Do you think? Think has nothing to do with it. Your father despises you. She looked so lonely when she spoke those words.
帰る。
I believe, in the words of the immortal Tsundere, you, sir, are a complete baka. There I
さっ
said
さとア
it.
メリカに帰れ。二度と顔を見せるな。
Only if you never show your face to the scientific community. Bow down in disgrace and leave this place with your tail between your legs, you miserable dog.
でも
You're not even worthy to scrape the boots of the greatest scientific minds of this age.
何が意見が聞きたいだ。何が共同署名だ。本心ではそんなことこれっぽっちも思っていないだろうが。
Do you think that your daughter is like you, a credit-hungering plagiarist? He sounds like a child with an inferiority complex.
私を憐れんどるのか。それとも蔑んどるのか。娘の分際で。
And you are supposed to be her father, but you don't hear her complaining, do you?
何言ってるのよ。落ち着いて。
私は十分落ち着いておる。指図するな。
I think that even Haruin Kiyoma has certain standards at this point. This is bad. It's almost time for Kurisu's murder. Was it really Nakabashi, her own father, who killed her?
私が今日この場にお前を呼んだ理由を教えてやる。勝ち誇りたかったのだよ。お前に私の研究の偉大さを見せびらかすことでな。
Funny you should mention that, Nakabashi.
お前が絶望するほどの差を知らしめてやろうとしたのだ。
And the words of the late Gene Wilder, strike that, reverse it. It is you who are nothing compared to your own daughter.
なのにあの妙な若造のせいで全て台無しだ。そしてお前がそんな私を見て鼻で笑っていたのも知っているぞ。どこまで親をバカにすれば気が済む。
Yeah, I know. I'll stop with the word and the mighty jokes.
この論文に意見が欲しいのか。意見ならここで言ってやる。
Nakabashi rolls right over Kurisu's objections. It's like he doesn't even hear her voice.
この論文は私の名前で発表する。以上だ。
It won't save your career, Nakabashi.
まさかパパ盗むの？
Haruin Kiyoma was right. You're a complete fraud, good sir.
なんだと。
Plagiarist.
私の論文盗むの？そんなことだけはしない人だって思っていたの。
And unfortunately, Kurisu is only fanning the flames. Nakabashi suddenly whirls and strikes Kurisu across the face. What do? We intervene. That's exactly what we should do.
誰に対して口を聞いておるのだ。
Nakabachi throws the paper aside and seizes his daughter by the throat. Kurisu gasps for air. His face twists in pain as his grip tightens. You are a loathsome scientist and a terrible father,
俺
Nakabachi.
に私の気持ちがわかるか。なぜお前はそんなに優秀なのだ。私はお前が憎い。存在そのものが疎ましいのだ。
She was only trying to pick up where you fell short, but not for her own academic achievements, but for the real benefit of actual science.
私より優秀な人間などこの世にいてはならんのだ。わかるか。屈辱なのだ。
Not even
娘が親より
Albert
優秀でいい道理などない。
Not even the late Stephen Hawking? Not even Horin Kiyoma?
だから遠ざけた。お前と親子だと思われるのが耐えられなかった。
Unfortunately, that is a shame that you have to
お前が
bear.
いたせいで。お前のせいで。
Don't put all your blames on Kurisu. This is completely absurd. He's blaming her for his own failures. I've seen enough. He's the killer for sure. I burst from my hiding spot.
よせ。
We meet again. Good sir. I ram him with my shoulder as hard as I can, knocking him away from Kurisu. Kurisu gasps for breath. You should be ashamed of yourself, good sir.
なんだお前は。
Only the insane mad scientist, Horin Kiyoma, at thy service.
クリスは殺させない。
I'm going to save Kurisu. I'm going to save her and change the future. Even a weakling like me can pin down an old man like Nakabachi. Then I can get Suzuha to call the police and... The memory of Kurisu's body flashes through my mind. No, it won't turn out like that. Steadying himself with one hand against the wall, Nakabachi gets to his feet and looks straight at me. The instant our eyes meet, his face twists in rage.
さっきの。お前のせいで。お前のせいで私の発表会は台無しだ。
Your presentation was already a disgrace. I called him out on his lies in front of the presentation. Nakabachi is mistaking me for his past self, for my past self. Understandable, since we're exactly the same.
よくも抜け抜けと私の前に顔を出せたな。どいつもこいつも私の邪魔ばかりする。
To be fair, you should never have made such a paltry presentation in the first place.
さてはお前、クリスと示し合わせていたな。そうだ。そうなんだろう。
Believe it or not, she had absolutely nothing to do with this. In fact, she knows absolutely nothing. He's delusional, but what else is new?
許さんぞ、ガキども。
Nakabachi glares at me with bloodshot eyes, and then takes something out of his pocket. At first I can't tell what it is, but then I see it glint in the dim light. A knife. The blade is about 20 centimeters long. I can't help but shiver at its cold shine. Why is he even carrying something like that? Is he completely insane? Wait, is that the weapon that killed Kurisu? I won't let that happen. Damn. Why is my brain so fixated on that scene?
私をバカにするな。
I believe you are the one who shall be paying for making a mockery of the scientific community, Dr. Nakabachi, if you're even deserving of that title. But I believe that is it for this episode of Let's Play Steins Gate, and when we return, we shall confront Nakabachi head on and see if we can keep him from murdering Kurisu Makase, his own flesh and blood, in cold blood and cold, murderous blood. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.